Exodus chapter 14. I want to read a few verses as we begin to journey in this service. And for everyone who will join us later on, you'll meet us where we start. Please, as they come, please give them a seat somewhere. They shouldn't walk to the front. There should be order. 14 of Exodus. Verse 10, verse 11, verse 13, and verse 14. Verse 10. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. No, they were coming after them. They were marching after them. And they were so afraid, and the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. And they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, thou hast taken us away to die in the wilderness. Where hast thou dealt us with us to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is it not this the word that we tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you shall see them again no more. Not just no more, forever. Verse 14. The Lord shall fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. That's verse 14. I would like to stop there. What's our theme for this weekend? Way Out. Way Out part 3. You know, one of the proofs of spiritual leadership is not like when you see somebody as your leader. There are certain elements and factors you must consider. And that's why you should not desire it. Rather, it should come upon you. You know why? Because no man taketh this calling to himself, except he has been called. He said, many are called and few are chosen. So it's not with our choose ourselves, it's not with our call ourselves. Because God has to be sure. He has to check some things, some factors. There are very many. And the way some of us live our life that admire leadership, we can't even function in leadership. That's the truth. Because it comes with a lot of things. Imagine Moses was on his own, growing up with his plan. All right, like every other young child. And then he's thrown into exile for 40 years. And then one day, while keeping the sheep of his father-in-law, he sees a burning bush. No previous introduction of God to him. It just the first introduction Moses has, apart from his childhood, when the mother, because the mother was a Jew. All right, the mother was from Israel. The mother was from Levi. All right, apart from all those infancy, mother tongue language, he has never actually encountered God. The first time he saw him, he saw God was in the midst of the burning bush. Fire was burning, and God altered all his plan for his life and said, you have to return to Egypt, where you ran away from. He ran away from Egypt 40 years before that time, and God said, you have to go back there. That is your destiny. How many of you can stand that God tells you, return to your place where you are running from? That place you are running from, where they are seeking to kill your life, is where I want you to start a ministry. The place where you have been rejected, that's what I'm sending you to. Don't go anywhere. That's the way I'm. Not God speaking in parables, not God speaking in mysteries. God is speaking plain language that Moses you understand. Moses, go back to Egypt. That's where I'm sending you to. Now Moses comes and gets to his people. His people did not receive him. And eventually Moses began to wrought miracles. Or definitely the life of Moses was on the line, because Moses wasn't able to face Pharaoh without putting his life on the line. He has heard God. Israel has not heard God. Pharaoh has not heard God. And God is telling, now go and represent me. Stand before Pharaoh and the people, and then I will use you to do great and mighty things. Am I speaking to somebody? Just by private personal encounter he had in the secret place, God is saying, now go to the public place and display my power. What if I arrive there, nothing happens? The devil will say that to him. that this thing you are seeing and this burning bush you are seeing, this rod you are seeing change to a serpent, this water you are seeing change to blood. What of if you go to Pharaoh's palace now? There's no network. Do you know the 1,000 voices Moses would have heard when he was approaching the course of Pharaoh, where he ran away from? In fact, he didn't even see Pharaoh. He just had a premonition that if Pharaoh find out that he killed an Egyptian and buried him, he will kill him. He didn't even see Pharaoh. There was no verdict, no court sat. He just heard. He just had a fear and intuition. He was just afraid and took off. Now God is saying, go to the palace, go and present yourself as a living sacrifice on the altar to be killed. Let us see what happens. The same thing God did with Abraham. God said to Abraham, leave your father's house to a land I will show you. He didn't tell him the land. He said go to America. If he had said go to America, would have known the destination. He didn't tell Abraham the destination. He told Abraham the obedience, the starting point. Leave your father's house first. What of if as Abraham is transversing life now, he didn't hear that same voice again? Have you seen people tell you? They say, you said God called you. God told you. Now let God prove himself. You beg them for money. You ask them for money. They say, if God called you, God will provide. They have the money, but just to mock your calling, they tell you, if God called you, God will give you the money. If you say you are a Christian, you want to serve God, let God give you the money. If you say, okay, you don't want to join us in worshiping this idol, let that God provide for you. And then you go back to God, you pray, you fast, you sow seed, you worship God, you walk on the altar, you walk in church, you join the department, you attend services, you attend programs, and your life is still looking as if that God didn't hear the prayer you have been praying. You look as if everything is still at the stand. As a matter of fact, it now look as if I started worshiping God, things now became worse. And you look at people, you know what they do in secret. You know how they live their life. You know how they are saying they are bearing Christian names, are attending church, but you know the kurukere movement they are doing behind us. You can see them, despite all those things. You can see if God is blessing them, but you that have a genuine heart, a sincere heart, things are not working for you. I told a young man during the week, I said, money rituals, I believe it works. Not like I believe in it, I know it works. Because I do not, as a person, deny the power of the devil. It's a foolish man that does that. Yes, so I don't deny his power. The only difference is that I know that there is a higher power than his own. Because to deny it is to live in self-delusion, self-deception. I said, I know. If you go to some places, in fact, even in 7 days, you get the money, you get it in bit. But there is a but to it. There's a but to it. There's a but to it. There's a but to it. Bible says, when you see the wicked prospering, do not fret. Do not worry yourself. It said, when the wicked has wealth, it's like a bird that has gathered egg. It sits on like a partridge, but it cannot hatch the egg. What they actually do with money transfers, let me tell you, what the money transfers is that money they actually see is their money. Is their money. The witch doctor looks into the future, what they would have become, the millions they would have received in the future. And I say, okay, now since you cannot wait for God to do it, you have come to meet me. Now I will go to your future, I will bring the money for you. But it will be a condition, you will have no future. You hear what I said? The money is your own. You could not go through the process. Now I will listen to me. If you are empty, the witch doctor can't do it for you. It can't. It will that's why some of them will go there, they will still die poor. In fact, some of them, when they're trying to do the ritual, they die in the process. Am I communicating to somebody now? Because it's not about manufacturing something that doesn't exist. It is about their prophecy already, their destiny. So now the man tells them, I will make it happen for you in 4 years. I will make it happen in 10 years. So they now live their tomorrow today. When they now get to tomorrow, it will be in mystery. Everything will be scattered. At that time, they start selling off their property. Their children scattered. Business scattered. Everything scattered. Health scattered. You know why? They did rituals to enter the future to invoke the wealth that is to come. But the good news should be this: if I know I have this word tomorrow, why do I have to kill another person to get this word? Why do I have to spill this blood? I rather wait for my time. I go through the process. I lay a solid foundation that even when I'm not alive tomorrow, my ministry will still be standing, my business will be standing. Am I speaking to somebody here? Listen to me, child of God. I came to speak to somebody who is contemplating doing something evil. I came to announce to you, if you wait for the Lord, if you stand with the Lord, it may take time but will not take forever. It may be long but it will not be too long. He said the vision is for the appointed time, though it will not tarry. He said wait for it. Even if it tarries, you have to wait. I came to encourage somebody, do not put your hand into evil. The future will still manifest. There is something ahead of you. There is a prophecy over your life. You will not end your journey like this. There is a glory in your life that is about to be revealed. You will cross the Red Sea. The Egyptians you see today, you will see them no more. God will manifest himself in your life. Do not give up. Do not join them. If you cannot be them, leave them alone. Are you aware people that joined Okot several years ago to buy Benz? No, V-Boot. You know V-Boot? Eh? You know, they now join court to buy V-Boot because that was time it was raining. Some of you, I don't know, maybe you are too young. But if you are Gen Z generation, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about like 30 years ago. You know V-Boot? If you buy that V-Boot, your whole neighbors, they'll be doffing their heart for you. They'll be cutting their hair in the sun. They'll be cutting for you. They'll be twirling for you. V-Boot. You know V-Boot? Some of you don't even know it now. Some of you are 20 years old. 19. 22. You don't even know what V-Boot is. That V-Boot now. If they give you that V-Boot and you drive it, nobody, in fact, they will look at you with one eye. Where is this old man coming from? That's what people did a lot of sacrifice to get. You know, Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 2 tells us that this is why God took the children of Israel through the wilderness for 40 years instead of 40 days. Was for 3 things. The first one was to humble them. Was what? I can't hear. To what? To humble them. The second one was to prove them. The third one was for God to show to them what is in their heart. Because if a prophet says it, they won't believe. So God wants to show. God knows, but he wants to show it to them. This is the content of your heart. This is what you are made of. I know you. But if I do this, they will say, no, I'm unrighteous. So I will do. I want to humble you. Child of God, the first problem of a Christian is not the devil. It is pride. The first problem is arrogance, pomposity in poverty, arrogance. People, child of God, if you can humble yourself, you know what fasting does? Until fasting humbles you, you have not fasted well. That's why you see, check the Bible in Isaiah, when he mentions fasting, he talks about humbling yourself, throwing away your garments and putting ashes over your face. You have to humble yourself. To pray and to fast is humility. I might speak to somebody that the second problem of the Christian is ignorance. You don't know. You don't want to know. That's why a lot of us don't have a good Bible study life. But once the devil knocks on the door, we jump. We can't even wait for God. In fact, we can't wait. Pastor, to the slow. I need something. That's why you see some Christians, they come to church after Sunday, they are in the shrine. No knowledge of the word of God. So God said, I want to prove you. I want to humble thee. Can I say this to you? Egos are meant to fly. But when egos have ego, they can't fly. When you have pride, you can't ride on high. Pride is the reason why some people cannot change. They will come to church for 10 years, 5 years. They can't change. Their heart is very stony. As I am preaching at it, they are saying their own their heart. It's the reason why some people cannot stay in the church. They can't stay. They cannot be instructed. They cannot receive instruction. They cannot be discipled. What they want to do, that is what they will eventually do. Their heart is so hardened, very hardened. So God said, instead of 40 days, I'll make it 40 years. Because I want to humble you. I want to prove you. I want to know what is in your heart. Whether you will do or you will not do. And guess what? Did you see the scripture we just read? Now they saw 10 plagues. 10 what? We call the 10 plagues of Egypt. The 10 plagues. They saw extraordinary supernatural act of God. You know, one time I said this, some people were laughing. If I come to service like this was Moses. So if I come to service like this and I hold this microphone, I said, in this service, God wants to show his power. I just drop the mic on the ground. The mic turned to snakes. I don't think he will be here to continue the service. Moses was that kind of pastor. The oil of God on his life was that raw. He dropped his stick changed to serpent. You see now, I said, bring water. Let me pray for it. I pray water, you drank it. Moses took water, the water changed to blood. Would you stay in that? Oh, you don't understand. Moses commanded lice. They woke everywhere, lice. On that morning, he commanded frogs. You know frogs? Achille, what they call it in the car? Ewo. The one that have eggs, the one that is very robust, the pregnant frogs, they enter everywhere, every door. People saw frogs. This is to me, geographers could not design, they could not design what was happening. Everywhere was frog. Locusts came, death came. Every male child died in Egypt, including that of dogs and cows and rats and cockroaches and mosquitoes. They died. They saw that kind of thing. And they saw how God brought them out from Egypt. Now they saw a Red Sea. Guess what they told Moses? They said, Moses, is this not what we told you that time? When you want to remove us from bondage. We told you this thing not go work. Oh. It's not the work. You still carry us. Now we have come to the Red Sea. It's not better we were in bondage than we not die in the wilderness. That there will not be grave to bury us. You know, so they were concerned about grave. They were concerned about obituary. They were concerned about funeral. If I die now, who will bury me? Will they bury me? That was their concern. One of the frustrations, one of the challenges a pastor faces is that people he wants to deliver prefer to be in the bondage. Not like they speak it at all, but they act it that they prefer it. They prefer to stay there. Say, young man, I want to pull you out. We say, no. I just people that prophesied to in church the first time they came and they were delivered from an emergency situation. They will start behaving somehow. If you want to, is this all right? Is this guy normal? You that were just delivered from what would have ended your life. Now, everybody expects you to comply, to be humble. For where? Deliverance from Egypt doesn't stop them. Their attitude will always be there. You expect that the way God moved for that person, that person will become, in fact, the next will be the first to come. You see, person become complacent. We start complaining. We start talking. We start arguing. Somebody that just be delivered from a time bomb, we don't be complaining. There are people that were dating witches and wizards. They didn't know. When they came to DP, it was exposed. So what people you expected to stay, right? For where? But I know foundational power, how it works. I know. That when he knows that place you are going to, that church you are going to be delivered. And you are going to enter the promised land. You know what you do? It makes you leave Egypt before you enter promised land. He will come and whisk you out. He said, yes, you are delivered, but you will not enter the promised land. But actually, the promise of God for you is not just to be delivered from Egypt, it's to also enter the promised land. Because there is a promised land. Tell someone, say there's a promised land. I can't hear. Tell someone, say there's a promised land. I can't say there's a promised land. Psalm 66 verse 12. Thou hast caused men to ride over our head. You have taken us through fire and through water, but you have brought us to a wealthy place. There is a wealthy place in front of you, but you will go through water and God will cause men to ride over your head. You don't understand what that means? It will cause people to ride over you. You'll be having the prophecy to take over nations, to take over communities, but people will be riding over your head. People who are not up to what God wants to do in your life, they will start to suppress you. They will oppress you. They will intimidate you. They will show you all kinds of colors. And you will pray to God. Look as if God is not answering. You are at your Red Sea. The Red Sea is a place whereby you begin to contemplate. Your salvation comes into scrutiny. You begin to ask God questions. You begin to ask yourself, did I really hear God? Is it this God I'm serving? Am I following him? Are you sure this God is still involved? Or has he abandoned me? Because I can't see his hand again. Can I say this to you, child of God? If you want to serve God, let me say this to 20 of you. Hear me very well. If you want to serve God and be stable, not off and on. Listen to me. Even when you cannot see God, even when you cannot feel God, understand that God is always there. It's not in the voice, it's not in the feeling, but it's always there. Until you are able to cultivate this understanding, you can't serve God though. That time you will pray, you will expect he will answer. Nothing will happen. You are at your Red Sea. Can I say this to you? During lectures, lecturers talk with their students. Students ask questions, lecturer answer. Lecturer ask questions, student answer. Lecturer talk, students talk in the classroom. But during examination, the same lecturer, he won't answer your question again. What does he do? He's quiet. If we see you writing the wrong thing, he'll be quiet. When God is silent, you are in the exam hall. You hear what I said? Where did I say you are? That is exam hall. And the beauty of exam hall is that exam actually is the last class before promotion. But that is when God is quiet, he's silent. Between the Old Testament and the New Testament, between the last book of the Old Testament and the time Jesus Christ came, 400 years of silence in church history. God did not speak anymore to anybody. 400, he kept quiet. You know why? Because God was working on the plan. He didn't just want to speak to them, he wanted to manifest his voice. Adam and Eve said, we heard your voice walking in the garden. But the New Testament, you not only hear the voice, you will see the voice, you will see it. So God was preparing something. When you are in that point, you are at your Red Sea. When life seems as if it has garaged you, all the projects you have put your hands in, you try to do this one is stuck. This one is halfway. This one is halfway. That one is halfway. Marriage plans halfway. Business plan halfway. Education plan. You don't know. Now, if we say, okay, let money come now, they want to handle for you, don't even know. Because all of them are calling for your attention. You don't know what to do. Listen to me carefully. You are at the Red Sea. Because now, at the Red Sea, you can't go back to Egypt again. And you want to advance to Promised Land, there's a river in front of you. But hear the counsel of the Lord. I came to speak to 22 of you under the sound of my voice. This season you are entering to, that rest will part for you. I say it will part for you. I say it will part for you. I say it will part for you. Listen to me. Even in your head, the rest will part for you. In your finances, the rest will part for you. Zechariah, hear what Zechariah said. Zechariah chapter 4, I believe verse 2. He said the hands of Zerubbabel has laid this foundation. His hands will complete it. That's why I know God will not abandon your destiny. He won't leave you halfway. He won't leave that project halfway. He's the one who started it. He's the one who will complete it. That's why it's called the Alpha and the Omega. I prophesy upon your life. That which God has started, that the enemy want to stop, it will continue. It will be completed. I speak over your destiny. It will be completed. After you started your education and look as if you will not graduate, it will be completed. That marriage will be completed. The visa will be completed. That house will be completed. The money for that land will be completed. The money for that car will be completed. I speak completion. I speak completion. I speak perfection. This race you will cross it. You say, man of God, they are waiting for me to say, I know. They are waiting for you to say, but God is waiting for you at the Red Sea. You will cross that Red Sea. Take your seat. Take your seat. When you see a Red Sea,